of course, like I'm a homer. I'm not going to ignore that.
What do they see in this guy? This guy sucks.
Prepare yourself for the Raptors Report podcast with your hosts, Julian and Steve.
Hello, Raptors fans. Welcome back to the Raptors Report podcast. It is Tuesday, December the 16th. And it's almost Christmas time. And this time of year is very exciting because Santa is about to deliver some trade rumors to your eardrums. And there has been a ton of Raptors talk on the timeline, talking about who they're interested in, all of the suitors that are going around for the Toronto Raptors players. It's a really exciting time of year. And for the first time in a very long time, the Toronto Raptors are looking to be buyers for this season. Last season, they made a kind of win now, or maybe should I say win tomorrow trade when they picked up Brandon Ingram, who's in the prime of his career, but obviously he was injured that season. This year, they're looking to make some noise in the East. And so there are a whole bunch of teams that have been attached to the Toronto Raptors, including some very exciting names and also some smaller trades that I think are exciting, and maybe you will too. So welcome to the podcast. We will be getting into that. But before we do, let me introduce myself. I am Julian, and joined with me is my co-host, Steve. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm great, Julian. How are you?
Yeah, I am great. There's some birthdays in the household. I have just been debilitated by this stupid flu, which is like it came in stages. First were the chills and the fevers and the headaches, and then there was the upset stomach, and now I'm onto the like cough that won't go away. It's just, it's one thing after the other, but I'm here. So I'm ready to provide you with some Raptors content. So
this is like your fourth flu game in as many weeks.
Yeah, I know. God. But I am pumped for a couple of reasons. And there's a couple of things on the docket this week. This week's podcast. First of all, the Toronto Raptors laid the smackdown on the Miami Heat in their building. So that's number one. I'm riding high off of watching that game. And the others are the kind of the little the trade packages that have been floating across my timeline. In fact, I did a video today breaking down some of the players that the Raptors are interested in. So if you want to head over to YouTube and just check that out, be my guest, but maybe do it after listening to this podcast. But there's a couple of other things, because two things happen in a trade. You get something, but you also have to give something. So we're going to be talking about the players on the Raptors who are, maybe on the outs, guys who are on the trade block. We'll be discussing who those players are and maybe why. We'll also be taking a look at the upcoming schedule, talking about wins and losses, where we can expect them. And we might even be talking about RJ, because there's some news regarding him. But yeah, Steve, why don't we head into our first topic here? We can talk about the two players that the Toronto Raptors have been sort of attached to in rumors since Josh Lewenberg sat fireside next to Kate Biernes the other night and kind of dropped two mini bombs on us, some little slot bombs.
Yeah, I mean, this was music to the ears, really. I think if you have eyes and you've been watching the Raptors, you know something that they're just so desperate for is real backup center play. So hearing names like Goga Bitadze, and Daniel Gafford, that's good to hear. I mean, it's nice to hear some big names that get tossed around, but really trying to shore up that backup big spot is something that I think I've talked about, you've talked about. We're all kind of looking as a way to lessen the load on Jakob Poeltl, who, I mean, as he's rehabbing his back, it's clearly putting too much stress on him. And Sandro Mamukelashvili, he's not exactly a big center. So these are the kind of names I wanted to hear. So definitely great to hear from Leuenberg on that.
Yeah, I was kind of interested. And another sub point to this was the fact that the Toronto Raptors apparently found the asking price for Anthony Davis to be a bit rich. And we went over some of the deals that the Toronto Raptors could put together just from a contract standpoint. And it would have to involve RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl right off of the bat, because just to make it work under the CBA. The contracts have to be close enough in salary in order to acquire a player like that who's making, I think, what is like 60 million or like that.
And they're right up, either they're just a bit into the first apron, so they've already got contract matching issues, and the Raptors are just under that first apron. So if we take too much, then all of a sudden those rules come in on us, right? So it's a very sticky trade to try to make. Obviously, the money can get done. You can always make something work. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing. And you do have to like evaluate, are you actually becoming a better team given what you're giving up and what you're getting back, right?
Like one of the things about Anthony Davis, there's a contract problem and there's also like an asset problem. So the Toronto Raptors, as you well know, they're not a free agency destination. The biggest thing that they do in order to become successful is making good trades and developing prospects that they get through the draft. And one of the stipulations that I had when acquiring Anthony Davis was that I wouldn't want to give up too much in terms of future assets. And apparently that is the sticking point here. Apparently the Mavericks are looking for something with like a bigger future return in terms of picks and prospects.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. The other thing is that Anthony Davis has like a contract where he has a player option in the final year of his deal. And so if you're acquiring him and he's injured the whole time, he's picking up that $60 million and you're going to be on the hook for that. And, you know, if he's relatively healthy, he'll probably be looking for like one more big payday and he'll probably opt out of the deal. So there's a lot of tricky stuff going on with that. And yeah, I mean, like I would be okay with it at a certain price, but it just seems like that price is not what they're looking for. And obviously the Toronto Raptors, it takes two to tango. They are not in a situation apparently where they're going to be making that kind of trade. So these are kind of the fallback options. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always wary about trading with a team after they've made a bad trade because they want to make amends for their bad trade. They got Anthony Davis back. They're not going to let him go for nothing, because then they traded Luka Doncic for a couple of used pieces and bad contracts. No. They're trying to make up for it with this deal, right? So do you want to be on the other end of that? No. And I don't think that the Raptors want to either. That being said, they'll probably still poke and see if they can steal AD on a good deal, right? Which is great. This is what you want, right? But yeah, these names, Goga, Gafford, what are your thoughts on them?
Okay, so one of the issues here is that Daniel Gafford is going to be making about $18 million over not this season, but the next 3 seasons after this one. He's making about $14 million this season. And so I am not, for that price, I'm not that interested. That is quite a bit of money to be paying for a 20-minute per game player, which would kind of is his best role. Is that he is more of an energy big. And he comes off of the bench and he plays really hard. He gets like a ton of offensive rebounds. He's dunking it. He's playing with energy. And that kind of contract makes a lot of sense when you're pairing him next to a super elite pick and roll player, like a Luka Doncic, right? That's going to make that guy just pop, where he's going to demand so much attention in the pick and roll that he can roll to the rim and then Luka throws up a lob. I mean, we saw it. It looked good. And maybe he's worth that kind of contract if he's playing next to Luka Doncic. On the Raptors, I mean, they've got guys who can run the pick and roll, but it's not going to be like that. And I just don't know at $18 million a season for the next couple of years, like whether he's going to be worth that. With that said, if like maybe they can go out and get a guy like that without having to give up any draft capital. And like, just because the Mavs are probably thinking the exact same thing, like, do we want to pay this guy while we're rebuilding $18 million a season? It just doesn't make much sense. So if they could maybe just swing it like a straight up trade for, Ochai Agbaji, Grady Dick, and Garrett Temple, no offense, I'm sorry, then maybe that's something you have to consider, just because it is such a, he can fill in that role that the Raptors need. So that's my thoughts on him. With Goga Bitadze, I am down. Like, I think that guy is pretty good. He's just a solid center. He's got real center size, good screen setter, really good defender, good rebounder, good hands. He can pass it a little bit. Like, he's a traditional center, no frills, but that's like kind of what the Raptors want. That's what Jakob Poeltl is. And he's making not a ton of money. Like, if you go and look at his deal, he's making $8 million this season. He's actually making less money next season in the final year of his deal. So I'm down. Like, I love to get Goga Bitadze.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's Georgian as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I never mentioned that, but yeah.
Yeah, he played in the Eurobasket with Sandro, right? And they were both popping.
Really successful. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's been a guy who has played pretty valuable minutes for the Magic. And I mean, he's a Euro player. I think he would fit into the Darko system pretty well. I think that the Goga trade would probably be a Grady Dick swap. I would imagine, just personally, that it gives the Magic a chance to make good on picking Jet Howard over Grady Dick in the first place, and they might see that as an opportunity to right a wrong as they might see it, right? What do you think of that?
Yeah, like, here's the thing is that I don't know how much value, like, they've already got Tristan da Silva. They've got a lot of guys, Anthony Black.
Yeah.
They've got some guys who they're developing and giving minutes to right now. I don't know if Grady really fits that culture super well, because they are like a really super defense first culture. Grady Dick, you need to really think about how he's going to play in their system.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a great match. What I was thinking is that if you could find a taker for Grady, and there was another team that had maybe a role player that the Magic were interested in, then you could do a 3-team swap where maybe you give Grady to the rebuilding team, who can give him a lot of minutes, where, he can show something like he did last season, where he got a lot of minutes and opportunities. And then the Magic, they're probably not going to want to have 3 guys playing center minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they've got Wendell Carter Jr., they've got Mo Wagner, who is like really good for them, and they've got Goga Bitadze. So that's not a great use of assets. So if the Toronto Raptors value Goga Bitadze, they could try and engineer a 3-team deal where they send Grady to a 3rd team, and the other team sends a useful role player to the Magic. The Magic send the Raptors Goga. And I'd love that. I think that would be great.
I could see the Nets getting involved. Grady goes to the Nets. What is his name?
Clowney?
No, I mean, I think they might like to keep Clowney, because Clowney's actually been pretty decent. But he was in the Hawks swap. Of course, I'm blanking on it now, but he used to be on the Clippers.
Terrence Mann?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I could see that.
Send him back the Magic way. The problem is Tyus Jones has been so underwhelming for them. So they kind of need to figure that out, but they're giving Jace Richardson some minutes. Orlando's kind of in an interesting situation with the way that they're kind of like 2-timelining their young stars with the guys that are trying to work into the rotation.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that they could definitely use some help in the backup point guard. Like, yeah, he's been a complete bust for them. What's his name?
Tyus
Like
Jones.
the worst rotation player in the league. Like,
Yeah.
the guy actually getting minutes. He went like a month without scoring. That's so funny. But
Yeah.
I'm down with Goga Bitadze. And like the problem with the Magic is that their offensive system
Mhm.
is not like they need to have offensive players in order
Yeah.
to get their system to work.
Mhm.
And that's why they're playing Wendell Carter Jr. is because he can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And they need guys who can shoot the ball to play around their stars
Mhm.
because it's not a super creative offense. Whereas with the Raptors, like they have these more complex screen actions off of the ball.
Mhm.
And right now, the only guy on the team who's like really laying those like super hard screens is Jakob Poeltl.
Mhm.
If they brought in Goga Bitadze, I think that would be a pretty nice match.
Yeah.
And he's a solid 7-footer. Like he is a real big. He's not like a pretend big. So, and outside of not being very offensively talented, outside of 3 feet from the basket, he's a really solid player.
Yeah. No, I like that. And like it's a shame that Ochai is not maybe playing a bit better because he fits decently into the Magic system there if they're looking for a 3-and-D player, right?
Yeah.
Assuming if he still has that kind of draw, perhaps maybe they think they can fix him. That seems like a pretty easy swap. I think he makes around 5.5, 6 mil. That's a decent swap, and you give up somebody who's a good defender for you, but hard to stay on the floor. And that was another thing that was kind of mentioned in Josh Lewenberg's report is that Grady and Ochai seem to be the wing names that would be the guys on the way out the door in these trades.
I think it's like it's 2 factors here. First of all, they've kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
But the second thing is that they are like the movable contracts on the team that actually they're making enough money to do that.
Yeah.
So like Jakob Poeltl, he has one of those middling contracts where it's like he's not making like a substantial, like he's making right now around just over 10% of the salary cap.
Yeah.
Whereas like the next guy up is RJ, right?
Mhm.
And then that's like a substantial trade. That's not a trade where you're tinkering around the edges. That's like a trade where you're actually moving a rotation player, like a starting caliber player. So that requires a bit more calculus. Whereas with Grady and Ochai, like I don't think anybody's going to be too busted up if those guys are traded. And it's not going to make a huge difference to the Toronto Raptors rotation. And I honestly think that they're playing Ochai more these days, like just because they're trying to pump his trade value. And he has been playing a little bit better.
Yep.
Like he was miserable earlier in the season, but he did have a good game against Boston, had 11 points in that game. The game against Miami was like, okay, played 22 minutes, was 50% from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And like, he does play pretty good defense. So like, I guess
he's raised his 3-point percentage 5% over the last couple of games.
I know. Yeah.
From 8% to 13%, but it's on the way up. It's going positive, right?
Yeah. So what's the expression? Nowhere to go but up.
That's right.
8%. Yeah. Pretty hard to, I mean, if you hit 1 3, your 3-point percentage is going up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, those two are probably going to be not going to be Raptors just because of their contract. Like, Ochai was a first-round pick a while ago. Grady Dick also a first-round pick in the teens. And so those guys are making a decent chunk of change. You combine them together, you can get up to like a Daniel Gafford level salary. And so like, yeah, I'd expect those guys to move out. And it'll be unfortunate because like, you know, I think we all saw a lot of potential in Grady Dick. Ochai Agbaji had that like a really nice season last year, but it was not a consistent thing. And he is an older player. Like he was never like he came into the league at 22 and now he's 25. So
Yeah.
it's not like he's got like a ton of upside left to mine, or you can expect him
Exactly.
to improve too much. Whereas Grady Dick came into the league as a teenager,
Mhm.
and he just kind of never really found the consistency that you would expect from a player who is billed as a shooter.
Yeah.
He did have a good game last night, though, so kudos to him. I think that maybe some players, like, I don't know how good the general managers are these days, but last season there was a ton of buzz around the guy, and he had a whole bunch of really explosive and fun highlights. So you could maybe potentially see other general managers willing to give up a decent role player in order to get him. So I'd be down with that. Next up, we are going to be talking about another more dubious trade rumor. It's from a guy that I'm not a huge fan of. It is from Jake Fisher, Jake L. Fisher, and
Emphasis on the L.
yes, exactly. One of my favorite moments was watching him incorrectly predict who was it going to was it Memphis?
Yeah, and he got like consistently wrong, and he kept correcting it. He's like, no, this name, this name.
Oh, so sorry, y'all. God, oh, so sorry, y'all. Like, he got it wrong a bunch of times anyway. That was a highlight for me. But he predicted that Domantas Sabonis, or not predicted, excuse me. He said that the Toronto Raptors were interested in Domantas Sabonis. And I don't know if that is like a real if that's like a real thing, or whether he's just doing some math.
We heard
what I mean?
Well, we heard it in the summer as well. We heard that there was interest or whatever. So he might just be like pulling from there and then looking at where the Kings are right now and where the Raptors are right now. Maybe, or maybe he has extra intel, right? Maybe they keep checking on them. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just the math of the contracts, or they're saying, a Euro big who can pass. That's perfect for Darko Rajakovic, right? Maybe it's something like that. But I know that, public opinion of Sabonis is not quite high, especially dropped from those the beam years where he had a pretty decent season. He got an MVP vote and all NBA votes from that guy who I think has had his vote taken away because he just kept voting Sabonis for, I think, even for DPOY. So he had that, but for the most part, I don't really know what that does for the Raptors.
I'm not a big fan of that trade. So why don't we just quickly pull up Domantas Sabonis's contract here. So we'll just go here and take a look at his contract. So, I mean, avert your eyes if you don't like big numbers. He is making $42,300,000 this season. He'll be making $45 million next season. Then he'll be making almost $50 million in his final year, and then he's an unrestricted free agent. And I have some things like, I know that there are a bunch of the archetype that he is a part of has made a bit of a resurgence in terms of popularity. Obviously there is Şengün. There's Derek Queen, who's an up and coming player in that kind of mold. Obviously there's the Charizard of bad defense centers in oh my god, why can't I remember current MVP
Nikola Jokic?
Nikola Jokic, not current MVP, but 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic. But like, you really have to build your team around that type of player. And you have to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze. So the way that the Rockets have done it is that they went out and got like a ton of really good wing defenders and guard defenders. That's why they went and got Fred VanVleet. That's why they went and got Dylan Brooks when they signed him. That's why they went and got Amen Thompson in the draft. Like, you need to have guys who are dogs on defense. to stop other teams from just driving into the paint and scoring over and over and over again. And the Kings kind of like they had some guys who could do that earlier when they were more successful, but they just built the team completely wrong. And they have he needs guys who can play defense around him.
Yeah.
It really kind of limits the types of players that you can have on your team.
Yeah.
And I'm just not down with that. I don't want a no defense center who's giving up height on the inside.
Yeah.
That, and I also just don't like watching him play. Like, he is a brute. He plays the game like a hockey player. He's constantly elbowing people.
Exactly.
And like, I don't know if I'd call him dirty necessarily. He seems like a good guy, but like, he's too physical and rough. I just don't like the way he plays.
And offensively, he kind of does best as like a post hub, ball in his hand.
Yeah.
Why would we want that? Like, Scotty Barnes operates pretty well from there. Ingram likes to drive down to that kind of like low post area to get his shot up, and you're going to have Sabonis blocky in there trying to box out to get the pass for a post up. I don't think it helps with spacing. Like, what I liked about the interest in Gafford is it adds a different layer of spacing, of that vertical spacing, which the Raptors haven't really had, right? And it'd be interesting to see. Scotty is not a Luka Doncic, but we haven't seen him with a real lob threat like that. And that would be super interesting to see if they could develop a kind of chemistry, right? Because we know Scotty can throw those passes. But Sabonis is just a clunky post player who can pass, who can rebound. He has some talent. He has some touch for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a double-double guy for years, threatens triple-double sometimes. But I get that he can pass and stuff, but I don't think it improves the offense. And I think, if anything, it'll make stuff harder on somebody like Scotty, because I don't know how much he's going to adapt into that role of, okay, I'm going to go set screens and roll. Like, I know he can do that, right? But he does like to operate as a post hub. And you'd be trying to tell a 40-something million player, this guy would make the most on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? He would be the highest paid other player team. And now you're going to tell him, you're actually the third option on offense.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see what it would look like if he wasn't the third option.
Yeah, I think that they want, I think you want more of a role player at the center position for this iteration of the Toronto Raptors. You're going to run into some, like you already mentioned, it's skill duplication.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes you want to put the ball in his hands. You want to run screen rolls with him. You want to be using Scotty Barnes as a post hub. Like, I've loved the looks that they're getting him on the inside.
Yeah.
Now that RJ is out, they want to initiate the offense closer to the basket with him, so he's getting more post touches. Like, let's see if we can just get all the stuff that Sabonis would deliver from Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
And just not get Sabonis and just go and get a cheaper player who's going to play like defense.
Yeah.
That's my thought. What I see from this is that it's somebody doing math cynically.
Yeah.
They're saying the Raptors are looking for a big who is available on the market. The Kings suck. Sabonis is on the market. Well, they're interested, right?
Yeah.
Sources say the Toronto Raptors are calling and inquiring about Sabonis. Whereas I just don't know if that's I don't think so. I wouldn't do it, at least.
No, and like, out of if you're adding a center, if you're adding any kind of player that ideally you want as a role player, I want them to come in and make Scotty's life easier, because currently he is doing so much defensively, offensively. He's doing a lot, right? And you need somebody to make his job easier. Sabonis doesn't make his job easier on defense. It makes it harder. Maybe it makes it easier on offense, but I don't.
Scotty would be making his life easier, right? He would be the guy coming over to block the shot. Like, think about with Goga Bitadze.
Yeah.
You get Goga Bitadze, you don't have to worry about having a 7-foot guy. Scotty Barnes can roam the floor. Goga can protect the basket, grab defensive rebounds, and finish lobs and stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like what I would want. So I'm not too thrilled with the Sabonis rumors.
Yeah.
Oh, and like, when you're talking about trading for a guy, like I would far rather get Anthony Davis than Sabonis. Like, yes, that
exactly, right? If you're buying in.
Exactly. If you're buying in, get the future Hall of Famer who is going to raise your defensive ceiling to like top 5 in the league. Don't roll the dice on some guy who's like maybe makes your offense better, shores up the rebounding, but like doesn't propel you into the upper reaches of the defensive teams in the league.
Yeah.
Just not into that.
Because, and I feel like the packages wouldn't really be that different at the end of the day, right? Because I mean, you can try to hedge off of the Kings being a dumb front office, but they're going to value a guy like Sabonis as highly as they possibly could when they didn't get as much as they would probably want for De'Aaron Fox, and they're not going to get anything for Levine and anything for DeMar DeRozan, right? He's probably like, they're not moving Keegan Murray, so probably their best trade chip. So it's not going to be peanuts, right?
Yeah.
And just in chat here, I want to bring this up. Thoughts on a trade with Chicago for Jalen Smith and Ayo Dosunmu?
I like Dosunmu.
I really like Dosunmu. Jalen Smith, I mean, decent, but like he's worse than Mamu. I don't think he gives you that much more of that. But
I wanted to acquire Jalen Smith when the Pacers couldn't pay him.
Yeah.
And the Raptors could have gotten him for free and kicked the tires on him. These days, we've seen what he does, and it's nothing special. So like, I'm not like Dosunmu is an interesting name, but like, I just like the guard situation on this team. I don't think that like the Raptors have to go out and get a guy like Dosunmu, even though I'd be fine with it, but just like, is that what the Raptors need right now? I don't know.
If it's swapping Ochai and Grady's minutes for Dosunmu, your team is better. Dosunmu is a good guard defender. He's averaging like 15 points per game right now, right? He is
a good player,
and he's shooting the hell out of the ball. He's over 40%. I think he's like a career 40 some odd 3-point shooter, right? He's a good player, and
on low volume though, isn't it?
I think that's true. But I think that would improve your team and give you another guy to defend these talented guards that you're going to need in a playoff situation. He's got a bit more size than somebody. I mean, certainly than somebody like Shed. So if you're trying
I would like it. I think he's a good player, but like, what are you giving up for him? And like, you'd have to pay him in the off season.
It's true.
And I just like, I like the player. Do I like the idea?
Right.
I would try and find a person who can fill a niche. And I'm not just like, I get it. Like, you need some size, go get Jalen Smith. I'm just not a Jalen Smith guy. I'm not a big believer in him. So yeah, I'd probably be looking somewhere else. So why don't we change tacks here a little bit, and we can talk about the Heat game, because I do want to discuss what I saw from the Toronto Raptors in that game. I was really impressed with what I saw, and I think that the Toronto Raptors are like, there was an issue that they had that a lot of people were talking about, that I think the game that we saw yesterday is evidence towards. So people were saying like 5 games in 7 nights, which is what was happening at the end of that, that run there, where they got blown out at the end. And people were saying they're tired. Like, these guys are exhausted. They haven't had a lot of rest. And I know that's hard to hear for fans, because, you know, I don't want to hear it. I want the Raptors to go out and play hard every night. And yeah, they're tired, but you could at least beat the Hornets, or you could say like, well, they were overrated to begin with. And this is just kind of proving what I thought the whole time, which is that they were overrated and they're coming back down to earth. This game, what we saw was a Toronto Raptors team that played well all 4 quarters. Like, they didn't win the first quarter, I don't believe.
Yeah.
But they were in it. They were competing hard, and they were kind of trading punches with the Heat off of the bat. And then every subsequent quarter, they looked better and better and better until they eventually beat the Heat in their own building.
Yeah.
And the Heat have been struggling too, but this is a team right around their neck of the woods in the standings, and it was in their building. And I think it was a very quality win, and they looked well rested. Like, they looked like they had some gas in the tank, and they delivered. So that's my hypothesis on that game. But did you see anything that kind of set that game apart from some of the other games that we saw earlier last week?
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with their energy levels, like especially Brandon Ingram. He had a real hop at his step to begin the game. He was very efficient, tailed off a little bit at the end of the game as Scotty kind of started to get some of his buckets and everything. But yeah, like guys like Grady looked better. Ochai, decent, but Jamal Shed affecting the game every time he stepped on the floor. I mean, it's one game in the entire week, right? So easy to prepare for, but I liked what I saw, the complete game from Scotty, because for years I've kind of had like this conspiracy theory about Scotty is that every time he goes home, like he typically doesn't have a great game against Miami and Orlando, right? So whatever it is with visiting his family, friends, whatever, maybe he's just tired, maybe he can't focus. That's what it looked like, but it was the opposite last night. He was very focused. He had his mom in the crowd. He had his child's mother. Yeah, right. And he just was a complete player, and he had 5 stocks in the game
outside of the first quarter.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
First quarter, because you go on Twitter and you search up a player's name because you're like, I want to see all the highlights that he had, and then it's like 10 guys complaining about their effing parlay.
Yeah.
People are like, what? And they all use the same like cliche where they're like, as soon as I put an American dollar down on Scotty, this is the performance that he gives me. And it was like in the first quarter, 0-0-0-0-0 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I don't know about you, but I use the Real app for scores and stuff like that to see like live updated scores. But for some reason, they have a comment section under every player. And it is only for gambling addicts to just cry about their parlays. And it is insane what you see. And you're just trying to look at the player stats and you just see middle finger emojis, one more rebound, you bum. So, like, of course that's going to happen, right? But
he ended up having a good game at the end of things. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And he had a clutch block. As Blake Murphy said, he leads the NBA in clutch blocks, right? Which is another feather in his cap for that DPOY argument, which the Raptors need to start winning a lot of games again for him to have any chance at that. Chet Holmgren is far above because Oklahoma City Thunder, not unbeatable now, but I mean, like their team is juggernauts. And Chet has been fantastic, right? So it's an uphill climb, but
he does have the like they have a lot of good players on that team. They've got like 2 all-world guard defenders, Dort.
Yeah.
3. Cason Wallace, Caruso, even SGA is no slouch in that department.
Jalen Williams wasn't all defense.
Yeah, Jalen Williams. Like I even forgot. Like I'm forgetting. And then in the front court, he's got like a real center, like a good starting center.
Yeah. With
size next to him, so he's just able to kind of like cruise and having fun. Blocking shots, whereas Scotty is like he's the alpha and the omega. Like the buck stops with him. Yeah. If he doesn't have a good night on defense, the Raptors are not having a good defensive night. Let's put it that way. So I think that will be a point in his favor. Was there something else about the Heat game that like Jamal Shed was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so good in that game.
Yeah.
And he was instrumental in defeating the zone defense that the Heat threw out. Him and Scotty Barnes, those 2 guys, because like it comes down to playmaking against the zone.
Yeah.
And having a good passer like Scotty Barnes and like Jamal Shed,
Yeah.
that really can expose a zone and make it look stupid. Because when a zone fails, like it looks dumb as hell
Yeah.
because there's nobody guarding the person taking the shot, or there's
Yeah.
nobody watching when there's a backdoor cut, or like that kind of stuff. So they both did like such a good job against that. But the Heat are so tricky and they play such a like stupid style. I was glad that the Raptors were on a string defensively.
Yeah.
And I think that the long layover allowed them to play the type of defense that has made them successful this season.
Yeah.
Which is lots of help, lots of like long arms playing in the passing lanes, being disruptive, but also not giving up wide open threes to the other team's best shooter over and over and over again, which is what we were seeing like in that Boston game.
Yeah.
When it was just, they got back into it. But like at the beginning of the game, they came out flat because they were leaving Boston's shooters open because they were trying to play that help heavy style.
Yep.
And against the Heat, they were cutting off the penetration to the basket because they run that like junior varsity style, like drive and kick offense.
Yeah.
And then they were recovering to shooters and not letting them get wide open shots. I thought it was like a masterclass. And of course, it really helps when they are the one team that you can prepare for like a full week.
Yeah.
And sort of know their kind of style inside and out and be like, how are we going to solve this puzzle? And they cracked that puzzle. Like they destroyed the Heat with their defense. I love that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's an interesting game too, because the Heat starting unit has two former Raptors in it. You've got two guys who you have a pretty good book on, right? Now, they should probably have figured out not to be fouling Norm on the 3-point line. They mentioned, the Heat broadcast mentioned that he was like second or first in the league in 3-point drawn foul. Yeah. Right. And he got 2 that game. Right. So, but he's just a talented player, talented scorer. You got to account for that. I think Jamal took the Davion matchup, like personally in the way that he wanted to show out, to show everything he's learned from Davion versus like, oh, I really got to beat this guy. He's a guy that Jamal says he learned so much from in a very short amount of time. I'll always be thankful for Davion for that. Whereas he kind of orchestrated his own way out of Toronto by imparting so much wisdom onto Shed and allowing Toronto to say, this is our guy going forward. Thank you, Davion. Goodbye.
And also just like Davion was like, he played so well for the Raptors. Like you never get me to hate that guy.
No.
The Raptors got him for a song, like absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And he came to Toronto and like really impressed. Like his defense was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he showed enough on offense where it was like, okay, this guy can stay on the floor. And that was always the question with him. And the Heat obviously liked what they saw. They were like, this guy can be a contributor for us. He plays the style that we want to play.
Yeah.
And he's obviously gone on to a lot of success there. So good for him.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed watching Jamal Shed. Like he just needs to become a bit better of a scorer. He was still pretty inefficient last night. He scored 8 points on 9 shots, which is amazing, but like it was enough that it allowed him to stay on the floor and made them cover him so that he could get 2 feet in the paint and start distributing. So it was just such a good game from like a bunch of different players. It was like a team game from a defensive standpoint. And then enough guys stepped up to the plate on offense that they took it over. And even though they made some extremely boneheaded plays in the fourth quarter, they managed to squeeze it out.
Yeah. And that was a very high turnover game for both teams, especially in the first quarter. That was pretty ugly. They both like
playing that way.
Yeah, right. So that was interesting. And it was a pretty consequential game in the standings, funny enough. Raptors jumped back into third, but they would have been down to like 8th or 7th or whatever, right? So that was pretty because I mean, same night the Cavs lose to the Hornets.
The Celtics lost to the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So everything kind of worked out in Toronto's favor. They jumped back into third. Everything. I mean, you just kind of flush that whole 4 or 5 game losing streak and move on. Like you're still in a great position. Cool. Schedule starts to open up a little bit, right?
Yeah, and like it's psychological too.
Yeah.
As we were talking about like earlier on in the season, like when we were talking about the fake wins that the Raptors got against the Cavs when like and like the Hawks without Trae Young, like it turns out that Trae Young isn't exactly very important for them, but we were like, these are fake wins. Yeah. But because they won these games, there's a little wind in their sails. They can start going out there and really feeling good about themselves. And when you feel good about yourself, the ball flows a little easier. You feel more confident in your shot. You feel like you can beat somebody. Like it's a virtuous cycle. And maybe they can recapture some of that. Like they're going to have some games against some teams they can beat. Like the Celtics are the game after next, but the other games that they're playing, they can beat all those teams.
Yeah.
So, that was definitely a big thing. So, yeah, let's talk about the upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly cycle back to the Toronto Raptors schedule over here. And here we go. We are going to take a look at the upcoming schedule. So, as we just mentioned, there's also some downtime. So like, take a look at this, 2 games in almost 2 weeks, Tuesday against the Knicks, then like almost a full week to Monday, which was last night. And then they're going to be playing the Bucks, and the Bucks are like in a really bad spot. They did manage to beat, who was it? Was it the Cavs that they beat super shorthanded? Let me just take a quick look here.
I think so. But then they lost.
No, it was Boston. It was Boston.
Right.
Oh, that was so funny because Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis turned into Dirk Nowitzki and bombed in 27 points. Kyle Kuzma scored 31 points on 17 shots. This was a team that like beat the brakes off of the Raptors, the Celtics, that is. And they just walked into Milwaukee and got absolutely shellacked by the Milwaukee Bucks. Like it wasn't even close. So you love to see that. Yeah. And it really just goes to show that in the NBA, anyone can beat anyone. But I would expect the Raptors to be able to beat the Bucks. They do not have Giannis Antetokounmpo. They were one of the last like fully heliocentric offenses. And that's kind of how they won a lot of their games earlier on in the season, which is just like give Giannis the ball and just have like 10 shooters around him.
Yeah.
But they have a like, good Lord, Miles Turner has been a disaster for them. He is averaging like, what is it here? Okay. So he's improved a little bit, 43% from the field and 37% from 3. 12 points per game. But yeah, he was not worth the stretch provision being applied to.
No, exactly. Damian Lillard. And the Bucks just lost to the Brooklyn Nets by like 45 points. Right? Like that's what they're coming off of. That is so
the Nets
insane.
are not that bad. The Nets are not like one of the worst. Like Nick Claxton is actually having a really good season for them. Excuse me for hitting my mic.
Michael Porter Jr. is like a 27 point per game guy.
Is really proving a lot of people, not me, wrong. But yeah, they got their butts kicked. So I think that the Raptors will win that one. Then they play against the Celtics at home on Saturday. Listen, I'm just. I know it's not very patriotic of me as a Raptors fan, but I just expect them to lose to the Celtics.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'd love to see them beat them, but they just have the Raptors number, and they have for like the past 5 years.
They've got talent, and I think Joe Mazzulla, ever since he had that beef with Darko Rajakovic, takes this matchup so personally because that's how Joe Mazzulla is wired. He's an absolute sicko. So I think he takes it super serious, and I think they game plan hard for it. And I mean, you've got a lot to deal with, right? Like Scotty Barnes defending Jaylen Brown. That's a cool matchup. That's fine. But there's swing moments where is Peyton Pritchard going to shoot 4 for 6 on threes? Is what Derek White are you getting tonight? Right?
Yeah,
Derek White
exactly.
has been coming along. He's finding his game so far, right? Like
Yep.
in their last 10 games. So if you run into that, very tough game. And what Pirtle are you getting versus
Yes,
the
right.
Nemaeus Keita that they run out? Because that guy completely outworked Pirtle just by being younger, stronger, bouncier,
Yeah.
right? Obviously,
It
Yak is.
was he's hobbled, and
Mhm.
he had a really good game against them last season when they almost beat them with basically just RJ and Pirtle.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been a different player this season in a bad way. So
Yeah.
hopefully they at least make it competitive. I did like what I saw from them in the second half of the game against the Boston Celtics. They did not roll over and die.
Yep.
That made me feel proud. I know
Yep.
it's like a one of those victory. What is it?
Moral victories.
Moral victories.
Yeah.
But I'll take it just because I just expect losses against the Celtics. But then they
Yeah.
play the Nets again. They are not
Mhm.
that bad, but I think they have a pretty good chance against them. Play the Heat again.
Yeah.
That might be a loss. Then they play the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards are the worst defensive team in the league. They're really
Horrible.
bad, and
Yeah.
the Raptors should be able to beat them. So, if they go 50, like, let me see here. Win, 50-50 game. I'll say 50-50 game for the Nets. Celtics probably a loss. In this game, I'll be happy with the 3-2 record. How about you?
I mean, I'd like to see. I think that Nets game is more guaranteed than we probably think. So I think I'd be a little disappointed with anything less than a 4-2 there. I think you need
Well,
to
4-1, right?
4 and oh yeah, you said 3 and I thought you said 3-2. So
yeah, 3-2, 4-1.
Yeah. So 4-1. I think I'd be a little disappointed with anything less than that, because I think you need to pick up these easy guys. You haven't had to play too many of those West juggernauts, and when we did, they got their butts kicked. So you got to pick up these easy ones against these Eastern teams that are in the rebuild mode, right? So yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that Celtics game could really not work out too well for us. But the rest of it,
Yeah,
I think
we'll
those are all
see.
winnable otherwise.
We'll see. All right. So let's talk RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is set to return to on-court activity. I believe it was today that they said.
Yeah.
Like they were saying that during the game against the Heat, they said that RJ Barrett is they're going to start bringing him along. He's going to be on the court pretty soon. And I'm happy to hear that, although like I don't know what that means. And the thing about the Toronto Raptors is that they are like super cagey when it comes to like how much information they give away and how close somebody is. Like, remember when he first got injured and they said, "Oh, he's day to day." Yeah, he's this is a little bit of an injury, but they said it was like a minor sprain, and that should have like sent alarm bells off in my head. Like a sprain is like when a tendon is like ripped.
Yeah.
Like when there's a tear in it. Like how day to day can you be when you have like a meniscus tear?
But it was super confusing because they were just coming off of CMB's injury, where it was like, oh, he's got I don't know, was it ACL, MCL, whatever, but it was like he had a
strain or something.
Yeah, he had something like that, and then it was like game or two later he's back, right? So it was like, oh, okay, well maybe this is similar to the CMB thing. Yeah, and no, it hasn't. It's been long. He got a PRP injection in it, all that stuff. So, I mean, it's great news that he is ramping up. They'll need him.
First of all, like I understand why people are excited for him to come back because the team looked really good with him, and then as soon as he left, they started losing games.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like if you've ever heard of a cargo cult. Do you know about cargo cults?
No.
So in the Pacific Ocean, what would happen is that planes like would fly over islands and accidentally dump their cargo onto the beach, and these uncontacted tribes didn't like they would get this loot. Basically, they'd be like, this is insane, this is amazing, what happened, what were we doing when this happened? And they
Right.
were like, okay, well, we were here and I was like working on the fields. So they try to reconstruct the circumstances that happened when that thing occurred in
Right.
order to get it to happen again. But it has nothing to do with the like, it's just a random event, and
Okay.
there's no. So what I'm thinking is like, it's not that extreme. The I think RJ is a factor, and I think that he will help the team. I don't think that the Toronto Raptors, like, if he comes back and they're like amazing,
They
you
win
also
10
have to
games again.
exactly. You have to also consider that the schedule like lightened up.
Yeah.
They got to rest a little bit more. Everybody's playing a little bit looser and not as exhausted. So I think he's going to help, but I don't think it's as extreme as some people are really excited about.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, that makes some sense. It reminds me, I used to work with this guy who we were building these custom homes, and it was, we were in like a pinch where we had to bang out a couple in a row, overlapping, heavy workload on everybody, and he got sick right at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything got harder for everybody. He came back, it was easier for everybody, and he starts walking around going, you guys need me so badly. I'm the straw that stirs the drink. You guys, it's like, well, no, everything got harder as a coincidence as you were going out, and missing the extra body made it harder on everybody's body. So having a warm body obviously makes things easier. I think it's a little bit different with RJ because he does improve the offense in certain aspects. But yeah, I think I get what you're trying to say there, and it will be interesting to see, because it's really hard to nail down if it's like actually correlation or causation.
Yes,
when
exactly. Yeah.
If we beat the Nets with RJ, like, okay, sure,
Yeah.
I would have hoped we beat it without him, right?
Yeah.
But if you beat a really good team with RJ and everybody looks good and everybody gels, okay. Like if they smoke the Celtics by 30 with RJ in the lineup, then you start to believe, okay, he's actually super impactful on the offense, and there's a chance that he will be, right? But
well, like, and there's another thing is he always plays well against the Celtics. That's why they hate him. They hate RJ Barrett, because when he was with the Knicks, he was like a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like he was never showing the kind of potential that he showed with the Raptors so far. But he would like turn it up against the Celtics. Like he would go at like he's hitting buzzer beaters and stuff, and like mean mugging them on their bench, and like,
I wonder,
like, really.
Yeah, I wonder if that's
nuts, man.
I wonder if that's just him growing up as a Toronto Raptors fan, right? And you have that ingrained. Like, I mean, I don't know if you saw what Dylan Brooks did the other night, right? He hits that three, and then he beefs with LeBron and he gets the technical foul and all that stuff, right? But you got to realize, like, what looked like a game-winning three at the time, in LeBron's face, feels like, for somebody from, I mean, he's from Mississauga, but from Toronto area, like, it hits different.
No doubt,
it's like F you for LeBronto, right? Like, there was I don't know if it was his rookie season, I think, but Andrew Nemhard hit a step back 3-game winner over LeBron.
Oh, that was so glorious. I remember that.
And it was like,
that was so nice.
That is every Toronto child's dream.
Yeah.
To slay the dragon yourself with it, right? So, I mean, you wonder, is that a motivator for RJ to beat a team like that, right?
I would love it. Yeah. Okay, so there have been a couple of things that we talked about on this podcast. The first one being the quest for a backup center. And I think that is priority number one. I know a lot of people are looking around the trade market and seeing some other names. And I could see a trade that sends somebody out. Like, let's say RJ is sent out
Mhm.
for a player, like a couple of role players. Like maybe RJ is sent out so that you can address the backup five
Yeah.
and get like a 3-and-D player or
Yeah.
something. Like I could see something like that happening. I haven't seen a lot of rumors involving that sort of thing. It just seems like a lot of people are attaching the Toronto Raptors name to the bigger fish.
Yeah.
Like the Sabonises, the ADs, the Giannis Antetokounmpos. And I just don't know how like committed the Toronto Raptors are to going down that path. Like
Mhm.
Bobby Webster does have some pretty big stones, as you well know. Like he made the Kawhi Leonard deal or was like one of the main proponents of it. So it's not out of the question, but I think they're going to try and tinker around the edges here. I think they're
Yeah.
going to try and find players that make them a little bit better and a little bit more of a complete team in the short term.
Mhm.
And I'm interested to see what they end up with, because Josh Lewenberg does say that the Toronto Raptors are likely to make a deal. And I kind of agree with him. I think that they will try and make at least a minor deal.
I mean, Bobby said that this team you see today is not the team that you're going to see at the end of the season, right? Like he said something along those lines, indicating that they're going to see how it goes. They're going to look at the team and they're going to address whatever the needs are, right?
Yeah.
And the apparent needs right now, backup center, some more guard defense would be good. But yeah, obviously the backup center is probably the biggest thing to address. There's another name just that was in chat that I just want, or not. That's not what I'm looking for here.
Oh,
Um,
Robert Williams. Yeah.
for an Ochai swap or something like that,
I'd be
I'd
down
do it.
with that.
He's
Yeah.
been healthy this season. I think he's played like 16 games or something like that, and they have a cluster of bigs that they might want to be moving on for. So that might be an easy
I'd roll
buy
the
low.
dice.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Because he's got talent.
He's
Right, so-
strong. Like that's the thing about him. Like his knees are like, I don't know how healthy he's going to be,
Mhm.
but he is he's really strong, and he's always
Yeah.
been extremely strong. And he's not like like height wise, he's not very big,
Yeah.
but the guy can play center. Like we've seen it. The
Yep.
guy he's like really stocky and really strong. I
Yep.
think that he would definitely help the Raptors
Yep.
if he was healthy.
And
And
it
might be worth it.
about 15 and a half minutes a game, he's averaging like 5.5 rebounds and shooting 69% from the
Nice.
floor. So
Yeah, 13 rebounds per 36 minutes. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that
And,
helps, right? So that's a good name. That is a
That's
good
a
name.
good. That's a good thought. I wouldn't mind that. Holy crap! Yeah, he's finishing 82% of his shots inside 3 feet, and was 80% last season as well. So yeah, like the guy can still play for sure.
Mhm.
I love Time Lord when he was playing for the Celtics. I really wanted the Toronto Raptors to get him.
Yeah.
So if they could get him for a song, like if they could get him for a guy like what's his name? Yeah, Ochai Agbaji, I'd be totally down.
Yeah.
So good thought there. In any case, I think that's probably going to be the episode, ladies and gentlemen. We have some games coming up this week. You can join us next week, probably on the Monday. I haven't really looked at the schedule to see when the next podcast is going to be. But as always, it's on the Monday at 8:30, unless there's a game, in which case you move it back a day, which is what happened today. But I've really been digging this podcast, especially since we moved to StreamYard. StreamYard's made it a lot easier. We're going to be uploading this because I just figured out how to do it to Spotify. So if you're a Spotify listener, we're going to be putting it up there. If you can't make the episode, when it happens, look for it on the Spotify. We're going to be putting it up there. You can subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Check out at Raptor Shack on Twitter when he becomes unbanned, I believe in like 1 hour.
Yeah, almost back.
You can also check out Steve on YouTube. He's starting up a YouTube. He's already started up a YouTube channel. It's also Raptor Shack. You're probably watching this on YouTube right now if you're with us in the chat. So you're already subscribed to Raptors Report there, but always check after the game There'll be a new episode up at around 5 o'clock every day. In any case, thank you for tuning in to the Raptors Report podcast, your source for in-depth Raptors content. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.